10 most iconic jewel moments of Queen Elizabeth II that stunned the world. A broken tiara, a dazzling brooch, a necklace that carried a father's love. Queen Elizabeth II's jewels weren't just for show. They spoke, they protected, and they stunned millions. Tonight, we journey through 10 jewellery moments that captured history, sparked headlines, and proved that sometimes royal sparkle comes with a story no one could forget. The Flame Lily Brooch. Among all the iconic jewellery moments of Queen Elizabeth's lifetime, few captured the world's breath the way the Flame Lily Brooch did. Every time she wore it, she looked unmistakably Queen Elizabeth, composed, luminous, and carrying history on her shoulder. Its story begins in 1947, when a young Princess Elizabeth received a birthday gift unlike any other. A diamond flame lily crafted from nearly 300 stones, paid for by over 40,000 Rhodesian children. The simplified flame lily, Rhodesia's national flower, was a symbol of loyalty and hope, and Elizabeth adored it instantly, pinning it to her yellow gown within minutes. But its most iconic moment came in 1952, when she stepped off the plane as the new monarch, wearing a stark black coat and this brilliant brooch. That photograph, the brooch blazing against her mourning attire, made global headlines. It was the jewel that marked the moment a 25-year-old princess became queen. She wore it again and again during those early months, at badminton, at London Airport, even decades later at the 2019 Chelsea Flower Show. What many don't know is that she eventually inherited her mother's identical brooch, giving her 2 flame lilies, twin symbols of duty, legacy, and quiet resilience. In every appearance, the flame lily reminded the world of that defining moment, an iconic queen stepping into history with diamonds that carried the love of thousands of children. Nizam of Hyderabad Necklace. Among the 13 most iconic jewellery moments of Queen Elizabeth, few glowed with the quiet authority of the Nizam of Hyderabad Necklace. Crafted by Cartier in 1935, the necklace is a masterpiece of geometric Art Deco diamonds, arranged in an abstract floral constellation. Its pave-set centre suspends a detachable double-drop pendant of 13 emerald-cut stones, and a pear-shaped diamond that catches the light like falling water. Even in photographs, it feels almost alive. The story behind it stunned the world. In 1947, the Nizam of Hyderabad, then one of the richest men alive, told Cartier to let Princess Elizabeth pick anything she wanted as her wedding gift. She chose this necklace and a matching tiara, unknowingly selecting what would become one of her life's most legendary jewels. And history proved her right. She wore it through her early reign, from the Royal Variety performances of 1952 and 1953 to the 1956 Order of Amaranth Ball in Sweden, each appearance cementing its reputation. In her first official portraits of 1952, the new queen looked impossibly iconic, the diamonds forming a halo of authority around her 25-year-old face. Decades later, it resurfaced for her Golden Jubilee in 2002, and then, gracefully, on the Duchess of Cambridge in 2014 and 2019. A jewel with 9 lives, and each time it returns, it reminds the world why Queen Elizabeth's jewellery moments were nothing short of iconic. Burmese Ruby Tiara. There are jewels that shimmer, and then there are jewels that speak. The Burmese Ruby Tiara became one of Queen Elizabeth II's most timeless pieces, not for its glitter alone, but for the quiet power woven into every stone. Commissioned in 1973, this was one of the rare tiaras the Queen personally added to the royal vault, or shall we say she earned her own rubies. Garrod crafted it using 96 Burmese rubies, each believed to guard the wearer from one of the 96 illnesses recognised in Burmese tradition. A wedding gift from the people of Burma suddenly became a crown of protection. To complete it, Elizabeth made a daring sacrifice. She dismantled the famed Nizam of Hyderabad Tiara, using its Cartier diamonds to frame the rubies into Tudor rose motifs, an unmistakable tribute to British heritage. She wore it sparingly but memorably. During her Silver Jubilee tour in 1977, the South Korean state banquet in 2004, the Slovenian visit in 2008, and most famously, the 2019 Trump state banquet, where the tiara's protective symbolism sparked global speculation. In its final years, it became a signature image of an aging monarch who still understood the language of jewels. And in 2023, Queen Camilla continued its story, a tiara of rubies and quiet resolve. King George VI Sapphire Suite. For Queen Elizabeth II, no jewel whispered more softly than the King George VI sapphires, the wedding gift given not by a monarch, but by a father who adored her. When Princess Elizabeth married Prince Philip in 1947, newspapers buzzed over this antique Victorian sapphire suite, a deep blue necklace and earrings cut in the 1850s and glowing like midnight captured in stone. It was one of the rare gifts King George VI personally selected, a gesture of love on the eve of his daughter's new life. She wore the necklace almost immediately, dazzling Canada in 1951, pairing its ocean blue glow with the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. As Queen, she altered the necklace slightly, shortening it to suit the glamorous early 1950s silhouette, and later added a striking sapphire pendant. By the 1960s, she completed the set with a sapphire bracelet and a newly created tiara, forging a full parure fit for state banquets, from hosting the Kennedys in 1961 to shining at the White House in 1991. Its secret story is simple yet profound. This was her father's final great gift, and each time she wore the sapphires, from Pakistan in 1997 to her last portrait in 2019, they weren't just jewels, they were memory, they were love, they were home. Diamond Fringe Tiara. Imagine a crown of light, 47 diamond spikes rising like a frozen firework, crafted in 1919 for Queen Mary, using diamonds gifted to her by Queen Victoria. This was no ordinary fringe, neat, modern, sharply graduated, the kind of tiara that didn't just sparkle, it declared presence, and yet, its most famous moment began with a gasp. On the morning of Princess Elizabeth's wedding in 1947, as the young bride prepared to step into Westminster Abbey, the unthinkable happened. The tiara snapped. A Garrard jeweller was rushed in, soldering royal history back together while the future queen waited. Look closely at her wedding portraits, and you'll still see the tiny gap between the centre spikes, a permanent scar of that near disaster. The tiara became a family heirloom of rare intimacy. It crowned Princess Anne in 1973, then Princess Beatrice in 2020, linking three Windsor brides across generations. And in her later years, Queen Elizabeth II wore it again, quietly, confidently, its severe diamonds softened by decades of memory. A tiara once broken, yet forever unshaken. Scarab Brooch. In a vault overflowing with diamonds, sapphires and centuries-old regalia, one of Queen Elizabeth II's most meaningful jewels wasn't a crown jewel at all, but a quiet gift of love. The Scarab Brooch, designed in 1966 by avant-garde jeweller Andrew Grimmer, is a burst of yellow gold shaped like a miniature sun. At its heart rests a carved ruby, its petals overlapping like a living bloom, surrounded by smaller ruby buds and scattered diamonds. It was Prince Philip's personal gift to his wife, from a designer he championed, and the palace would fondly nickname it the Scarab. The Queen first debuted it in Bournemouth in 1966, pinned to a soft cornflower coat, a new bride still glowing in her early reign. Decades later, it resurfaced as one of her most sentimental pieces, bright pink in 2002, the 2007 Christmas broadcast, solemn ceremonies, state visits, and cheerful walkabouts across the Commonwealth. And then came its most unforgettable moment, the official portraits for the Queen and Philip's 70th wedding anniversary, a jewel chosen not for rank or splendour, but for memory, devotion, and the quiet story of a marriage that shaped a monarchy. Three-Strand Pearl Necklace. It is almost impossible to picture Queen Elizabeth II without her pearls, three luminous strands resting at her collarbone, glowing softly beneath her pastel coats. And among all her jewels, this is the one that felt less like adornment and more like identity. The story begins in 1935, when little Princess Elizabeth received her first serious necklace. Three perfectly matched rows of pearls, a silver jubilee gift from her grandfather, King George V. She wore it again in 1937, standing on the Buckingham Palace balcony for her parents' coronation, her coronet glittering, her pearls glowing like a quiet promise of the queen she would become. After her accession in 1952, she commissioned a second triple strand, this time with graduated pearls and a diamond clasp designed exactly to her taste. It became her signature, worn endlessly, from Australia in 1986 to state visits in Singapore and London engagements late into her 90s. The third, gifted by the Emir of Qatar in 1953, carried a diplomatic whisper: pearls as a bridge between monarchies. But the secret behind these necklaces is far more intimate. Each pearl was part of a lifelong tradition begun by Queen Victoria, with Elizabeth receiving 2 pearls every birthday. By adulthood, she had enough to build a necklace of her own. And when she stepped out in February 2022, beginning her Platinum Jubilee year, she chose her pearls again, the same serene glow that carried her through 7 decades. A jewel not of extravagance, but of continuity, duty, and home. Brilliant Turquoise Brooch. Among the many jewels whispered into existence on the day Princess May of Teck married the future King George V, one stood out for its quiet poetry, a brilliant cluster of diamonds encircling a single turquoise, gifted by King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra in 1893. In a sea of wedding opulence, 7 tiaras, 50 necklaces, 44 brooches, this one carried a gentler beauty. Turquoise, the ancient stone of protection, sat like a calm heart in the centre of fire-bright diamonds. Queen Mary adored it. She wore it notably in 1948 during the Danish royal visit, suspending the Cullinan 6 diamond beneath it, turning the brooch into a spectacle of royal theatre. And then, it vanished from public view. It resurfaced 6 decades later, pinned to Queen Elizabeth II in 2014, sparkling like a rediscovered memory. From that moment, it became one of her quiet power pieces, worn at her 90th birthday celebration, the Royal Windsor Horse Show, and most poignantly during her historic COVID address, when she reassured a shaken world, "We will meet again." Many believed she chose it to evoke Queen Mary's wartime resilience. Others saw the turquoise as a talisman of healing and hope. Either way, the brooch became a symbol of continuity, courage, and the comforting wisdom of queens across generations. Diamond Diadem. If there is one jewel that quietly defined Queen Elizabeth II's image, it is the Diamond Diadem, an airy silver-gold circlet shimmering with 1,333 diamonds, framed by delicate English roses, Scottish thistles, and Irish shamrocks. Its story begins not with a queen, but with a king, George IV, who commissioned it in 1820 for his extravagant coronation. Few knew the diamonds were rented, a royal cost-cutting tradition, until a scandal delayed the ceremony and forced the crown to pay twice. In the end, the jewellers simply sold the stones to the family, preserving the diadem exactly as it glittered in 1821. Queen Elizabeth first wore it publicly in 1952, just weeks into her reign, during her first state opening of Parliament. A year later, it crowned her journey to Westminster Abbey for her coronation, captured in the iconic Dorothy Wilding portrait, the very image that appeared on stamps from 1953 to 1971. To the public, it became the Queen's crown. To her, it was continuity, worn again in 2010 after the state opening, just as her great-great-grandmother Victoria once wore it for the penny black. Rare, regal, instantly recognisable, and valued today at nearly £6 million. Plunket Tiara. The last jewel is the most shocking and memorable jewel in Queen Elizabeth's collection, the Plunket Tiara. Its origins trace back to the Barons Plunket, an Anglo-Irish family intertwined with the royal circle. Though earlier family tiaras had graced the salons of New Zealand and London, it was the 7th Baron Plunket who acquired this modern masterpiece from Wartski in the 1960s, a piece already famed on the cover of Tatler and in a 1966 campaign. Sleek, contemporary, yet unmistakably regal, its delicate arches and sparkling stones made it ideal for the Queen's stately elegance. One memorable night in the 1960s cemented its place in royal legend. En route from Windsor to London for the Fanfare for Europe Gala at the Royal Opera House, the Queen's Vladimir tiara broke, In a dramatic dash, Lord Plunket retrieved his own tiara from nearby, placing it on the Queen just in time. She arrived to a hall of former Prime Ministers, glittering dignitaries, and even protesters. Yet her grace and the tiara's brilliance stole the evening. Though the tiara's current home is unknown, it remains forever linked to that singular night when royal composure met sparkling serendipity. That's it for now. Which of Queen Elizabeth's iconic jewels do you think has the most unforgettable story? Tell us in the comments below. And if you loved this peek into royal history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another dazzling moment from the crown.